everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my very last big twist unboxing, and this is the biggest haul we've ever had, of course, because the brand is probably going out of business since Joanne is going out of business. So I had to collect all the colors that I like and all the colors that I want to try from Big Twist. So this is $700 worth of yarn, but that's not as crazy as it sounds or as exciting as it sounds, because a lot of the colors I got like 20 of the same color. So it's not going to be, I'm not going to be showing a lot, but there is a big chunk, but not as much as it sounds, I think. We ordered in two separate orders. So one was an order that I did, a bigger order of colors that I like, that I know I like, and colors that I personally wanted to try. Most of it is Big Twist. I think I might have gotten like 1 pound of love, and everything else is Big Twist, I think. And then the second order was from my mom and my sisters. I told them to look at all the Big Twist yarn and let me know what colors they think I should get for making things for craft fairs or my Etsy shop. So they picked colors for me. And I also mentioned that they should pick colors of things that if they want me to make them something, they should pick the colors now. They did not take me up on that offer. Only one thing that my sister wants me to make for my niece, and it's just like a small thing, so I'll show that when I get to that yarn color. But otherwise they did not take that opportunity, so hopefully they realize what they're doing and they're not going to be asking me for something very in the near future. And at the end of the haul, I'm going to be talking about my Etsy shop and how Joanne closing is going to be affecting my Etsy shop, because I mainly use Big Twist. So I'm going to talk about how that affects the shop and what my choices are going to be moving forward. Right now, as I'm filming this, my Etsy shop is on a pause and has been on vacation mode for about a week, as I am going to try to reorganize things and figure out what kind of listings need to leave permanently and what I have enough yarn of to leave some things up, etc. So I have 3 big boxes next to me. Let's get started. I'm starting with a box of things that my family chose. It's not a surprise though, I know the colors they chose. So this is, let's open up the bags to showcase the yarn. A color that my sister chose, I'm guessing she chose for cardigan, for me to make a cardigan. So anything that I have a good idea of what I'm going to make with the yarn, I'm going to put a picture on the screen of that same thing that I've made in the past in different colors, or in the same color in some cases. So I think we got 5 of these. And I'm going to be using these storage bags to try to store all this yarn. So I am going to put them in the bag as I go along with this. Okay, so I only found 3 of those in this giant box. I want to keep the colors in the same bag, but I also don't want to dig through too much. So I'll just pull things out and try to separate them on my own. So this is Big Twist Heather that my mom picked. She picked a couple of the heathered yarns, and this is a black one, so it has those white speckles, and I think she got a brown one and a navy blue one. I think it was called Denim. So I think she might have gotten 5 of these, or 10 or 9, something like that, because I told her it takes about 4 skeins to 5 skeins for me to make a cardigan or a sweater. So she just picked things out, and I'm gonna have to see what everyone wants me to make with these things. Most likely it's gonna be a sweater or a cardigan. And this is the blue version of that. Would make a cute sweater for sure. It's very wintry, I think. I want to find the brown. Here's the brown version. The brown, I think I know what I want to do with it, and I was telling her about it, that I want to try to make a tapestry sweater, and I want to do a teddy bear design. So I think this would be the background I would use for that, which is kind of, I'm not sure if that makes sense, because the teddy bear should be brown, but I don't think this would be good as the teddy bear part. So I guess the teddy bear part, I think I would make white to match the speckles in the yarn, and then just have the rest of the sweater be this brown color. I just think that would be kind of cuter. So we got 3 of these heather ones in enough yarn at least to make one sweater. Then we got Big Twist Rave, which I have already used, so I will show on screen what I've used it for, and that's what I plan on using it for some more. I use this color already, and I'm going to be doing the same thing in this color, although the star sweater that I already made, I think I want to do a little less black and a little more of the color. If I make, well, I know I'm going to make more star sweaters in this. So I did 4 rows of black and 2 rows of the color, and I think I'm just gonna do 3 rows of black with 2 rows of the color, and then that way the color will be there more often in this sweater. But that sweater came out really good, and we're excited to keep making more of these. This was my mom's choice originally when I started making star sweaters, which I'll be showing more of my star sweaters in my next crochet diary video, which is probably going to be in a couple weeks depending on how much I make. But my mom and I went to Joann's a couple weeks ago to get a color for an Etsy order, and she saw these on the shelves and she said that they would look really good in the star sweaters, and I agreed, and they did look really good. So that's why we got more to make. Normally when I start learning new patterns like that, I usually try to do like one color scheme and then move on to another one. I don't keep doing the same colors repeatedly, but it just looks so good that my mom got more to make more in different sizes for craft fairs, because sometimes when it looks that good you just got to keep making more. I do want to try this color in a beanie as well, but the only negative thing I saw about this particular yarn, specifically is Big Twist Rave, on like Facebook groups that I'm part of for crochet, is that it sticks to itself a lot. And so a lot of people were saying that if you try to frog the yarn or the project, that it won't frog because it's sticking to itself, which I didn't experience because I didn't have to frog anything when I made the star sweater. Subtle brag, I didn't make any mistakes. So I'm worried that if I tried to make a beanie, the way I make beanies is the drawstring method, that it won't drawstring. If that's the case, like I feel like it would get stuck and it won't pull the drawstring. So I'm curious if anyone has made a drawstring beanie in any of the Big Twist Rave colors, and if they know about that or not. If you were able to drawstring it or not, I would really love to know, so please let me know. I'm sure that I can just use a different yarn to drawstring it, but then when the other yarn gets stuck to this yarn, I don't think so. I'll have to see. I'll have to test it out. I used, when I did the star sweater, I only used 1 skein of these, but for the next ones that I want to make, since I plan on using more of this per sweater, I'm probably going to end up going into like 1.5 skeins. The next thing that I could reach in the bag was this Big Twist variegated yarn, and I think this was called some kind of unicorn magic. So it's purples, blues, and white, and I only got 2 of these. This was one of my sister's picks, and she said that it would look good in the star sweaters, and I agree. But I don't know what this solid color I would use to oppose this would be in a star sweater. Like, I'll do a couple rows of this and then a couple rows of a solid color. I don't know what the solid color would be. Really undecided about that, so I'll have to give that a think and ask some people what they think. Next thing is this blue speckled yarn. My mom got a couple of these in, this was a speckle, and then there was ombre ones as well, and I think she got a blue ombre and a black ombre. I think this would just be cute for a sweater or a cardigan, just point blank. Something simple, cute colorway. And then the ombre one is right here. Blue ombre. Goes light blue into dark blue. Pretty cute. And the gray ombre is also right here. I know that she got more of the gray ombre and the blue ombre than the speckled, so I'm guessing she wants me to make cardigans and sweaters in that. The black ombre is really nice, or it's called grayscale. This one, I don't know, it's called blue ombre. This one's called grayscale. It would be really cute for a cardigan, I think. I make just simple hexagon cardigans for craft fairs, And normally, like, this isn't the type of colors I would pick, which is why I asked my mom and my sisters to pick colors, because I am such a bright color lover, and I do love neutrals. Like, I love brown, and I do a lot of earth tones, but I just don't tend to go for like just gray and black or something kind of plain like that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with plain, it's just not what I gravitate towards, and that's why I wanted other opinions of what colors I should get. And the last thing in this order was this hot pink, and it is literally called hot pink color, solid color. This is what my niece chose for what my sister wanted me to make her, which is a dancing bear hood. So I'll put on the screen a dancing bear hood that I made in the past. I'm pretty sure I'm wearing it in the picture, but it does belong to my sister. And she said that her and her daughter are going to be dancing bears for Halloween this year. So I have to make her daughter. It's coming up so, like, actually super hot pink in the camera, whereas in person it actually is a little more subtle. It definitely is more magenta-ish in person. It's not as like neon as it is in the camera. Anyway, I will have to make my niece the bear hood in a kid size in a dancing bear. I've already made her a bear hood, but it wasn't a dancing bear. So, and then she asked for yellow for the like collar part, but I already had the yellow yarn, so I didn't have to order that. But I made sure she ordered the pink that she would want for that, because Beatrice had a lot of pink options. And I've made her something in the color watermelon before, and I knew she liked it, and she originally picked that, but then when I showed her this, she wanted this. I feel like I'm just gonna leave this one out of the storage bag that I have going next to me, because it's literally just one skein of something. I feel like I will lose my mind like looking for it in the bags. I mean, I could put it on the top, but we're probably gonna end up filling multiple bags with this stuff. So I'm just going to fill the bags with the rest of what was in this box. I only found 4 of these. I'm still missing one of these. And I'm trying to keep them in the same color, around the same color. So that fully filled one bag featuring my dog sleeping right next to it. I tried to make it so that one of every color was like on the top, so that when I just open it up quickly, I would be able to see what every color is, but that ended up just not happening. Okay, now we are moving on to the yarn colors that I picked for myself. So this is getting into a lot of yarn that is of the same color, ordering it a bunch of times. Like this, for example, I probably ordered like 15 of these golden yellows. I don't think I have a plan for these ones. I just like yellow. Yellow is my favorite color. And I got golden yellow and a big mustard yellow. 2 big mustard yellows actually. Because I feel like you can get mustard yellow in a lot of other yarn brands, but I don't see a lot of golden yellow. So I wanted to make sure I grabbed this especially, but I do use this a lot. It's so good for like fall based projects. I know specifically that I'm going to use this in my very next thing that I make, which is going to be a sweater for myself in the wavy pattern that I've done before in this color and a pink, which I'm not sure if it's in this box. I'll show it, or I'll point it out when we get to it. So this color, a plum pink and a teal in wavy stripes. That's going to be a sweater for myself. I got 3 big ivories. I didn't get any black or white because the sales weren't actually very good. There was no like liquidation sales or anything yet, and this is obviously all an online order, and as of yesterday from me filming this, you can't even do online orders anymore. So I'm really lucky that these came, and only one thing from this whole thing, one color got canceled, which was fine. It was just a color that I wanted to try. I wasn't like desperately needing it, so I didn't find it necessary to get a bunch of whites and blacks, because you can get those in any yarn color. I will just have to like be more careful about like waiting for sales at places like Michael's and everything, because with Joann's you could just pretty much guarantee that it was always going to be some kind of sale, and so that's why it was pretty easy to make that my go-to. So I just didn't stockpile black or white. I have enough to get me by for right now. But I did get a bunch of ivory because I use this a lot. And I know you can get ivory in other yarn brands too, but there was just like something about this one specifically that I really like. I just think it's a very just nice color, and it goes well with a lot of things. I tend to choose this over pure white when I'm like making any sort of stripes or like pairing this with like literally any color. I will go for an ivory over white most times. I do use ivory a lot for my borders for certain cardigans on my Etsy shop, which again I'm going to talk about later, that I'm not really going to be making some of those things anymore, or I'm only going to be able to make a few more. But still, I wanted to have enough to do that as well. So I just got 3 of these big ones. Again, not a big sale or anything, but just felt like a necessity because I use it so much. I got this pink, which was medium rose, because I've tried a lot of the Big Twist colors and I wasn't sure if I've ever tried this. But now that I think about it, I think actually I have used this to make my own bear hood. I'll post a picture of that. And ironically, I got a lot of this color because I want to make myself a sweater in this color. And me thinking I had never used it before, and I literally used it for myself, I think. But I want to make myself one of the Jacob's Ladder diamond sweaters that I showed probably in my last crochet diary, but I'll put a picture up. And in that diary, I said that I really just really love that sweater, and wanted to make one for myself, but I probably wouldn't go for the blue that I made it in. I have so many things in blue right now, like in my wardrobe, and I thought maybe it would look really good in a nice soft pink color. But I also got this and a couple other colors, specifically also for their match to the colors in the lesbian flag, because I do a lot of pride, well not a lot, but I do a couple pride events a year, vendoring, and I do really well at the pride events, and my pride collection on my Etsy shop is also really popular. So part of my plan going forward is going to be to make things in certain pride colors for those events, and then if they don't sell, then just list those on my Etsy shop. Usually I keep my Etsy and craft fairs separate, and going forward I'm probably just going to kind of combine them. So this would be really good for the light pink part of that flag. And I try to make a lot of lesbian flag colored things because that's the most popular item on my Etsy shop right now. And I also know that it's very hard to find pride merch in specifically lesbian flag color. A lot of time lesbian flag is left out. Like even at the pride event that we do, which is literally like a pride in June pride parade kind of event, all the decorations, they'll have a bunch of different flags and they still don't have the lesbian flag at that event. I noticed for the last 2 years, and that they've only been doing it for 2 years. So that's how I know like it's harder to get the lesbian flag than other flags, and it's also easier to color match a lot of the other flags. So I don't go out of my way as much to buy those colors in yarn form, whereas this flag is like pretty specific, so I try to match it pretty well, and I've done pretty well over the last years. So actually I've gotten every color. There's 5 colors. I've gotten every color. Obviously I would use either the ivory or the white for the white stripe, and then I'll show, actually this next one is what I would use for the dark orange, which is the only Pound of Love item that I got. And actually they do have this color in Big Twist as well, but like I've always gotten it in Pound of Love and I really like it in Pound of Love. But I could have also gotten, I don't think it came in a big skein in Big Twist though, so I feel like it's more convenient to get it in the bigger skein than get a bunch of smaller ones. So this is the dark orange. I think the other colors are in the other box. So those are my 2 main plans for the pink, and because of that, because I want to make like a literal sweater that is fully pink, no other colors, and then also want to use it for any potential, like I definitely want to make the star sweater in Lesbian Pride colors. I got a bunch of the pinks, probably I think I got 20, because on Joann's, I'm not sure if this was true in the stores, but in the last couple of months on the website and on the app, you could get a bulk discount every time you get 10 of something, like multiples of 10. So getting 20, I was still getting the bulk discount, whereas in some cases I only got 15, and so I was only getting the bulk discount for 10 of them, so it made sense to just round up to 20 in a lot of cases. And then for this color, I got 3 of these big ones. Obviously, Pound of Love, you can get it other places. You can get it, I think it's Premier brand, so you can Lion brand. Is Lion brand the same as Premier, or is it different? Anyway, you could get it on the website, you get it at Michael's, so it wasn't a huge concern. So I got 3 of these because I use this a lot. Same as with the mustard color, really good for fall colors, especially for cardigans and whatnot. We've made it to the last box. So here is the color Orchid. This was not for anything in particular. I grabbed this because it was one of my favorite colors in Big Twist, and such a specific color that you probably can't find it in a lot of other brands. This is the plum color that I was talking about. So this is the color that is going to be used for my sweater, matching with this color and a teal color. But I also got a lot of this color to use as the darker color in the lesbian flag for any lesbian pride projects that I work on. So I think I got 20 of these ones as well. It's a very useful color. And then this is the light orange color that I would use for the light orange part of the flag. But this is also by far my favorite Big Twist color. Like when Joann announced that they were closing, this was the first thing that I thought of. Immediately I was like, I need to get more of this color. I just really, really, really adore this orange color so much. It is so summery. It is so good. It works so well with so many colors. I've done like a orange cream vibe with the ivory, I think. It works with the Lesbian Pride colors, of course, but it also pairs well with like sunset colors, I think. Like if someone asked me for kind of like a sunset type of sweater, like I feel like a bunch of pinks and purples with this orange, that's just so like beachy, sunsetty. I love this orange so much. So I ended up getting 20 of these in the order, but then in between 2 of the orders shipping, one of them was still processing for a long time and we weren't sure if it was going to ship, so we decided to go to our nearest Joann's to look, and this was actually the only color they had left in Big Twist, along with one of the other orange colors. It was like the varsity orange or something like that. It was one of the also kind of lighter oranges, which was still pretty, but not the same vibe as this, of course. And I was so surprised. Well, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be surprised. I guess people don't like orange that much, but I just think that this is such a specific color that it's like you can't like miss out on this. But I guess people did not agree because it was one of the last colors left. So I got 6 at the store just because of panicking and thinking that this order wasn't gonna ship. So in total I have 26, but that's fine because I just know that I'm gonna use it up in so many different scenarios. Next is also kind of a sunsetty scheme, color scheme a little bit. This is a color that I've used before. I actually attempted to make myself something in this color scheme, colorway, and I ended up frogging it and turning it into something else because it just was like, it wasn't a good pattern for me. It wasn't working out. Not style wise, but just like skill wise, I couldn't do it very well, so I gave up on it. And then, you know, when you like get mad at a project, so you can't like really think about it too hard, and you have to just like leave it for a while and then turn it into something else. And at that point I just didn't want it for myself anymore, so it's part of my like craft fair stuff now. It was like a short sleeve cardigan, but I bought more of the color because I know at some point in my life I'm gonna regret not having this color, because obviously at one point I tried to make something for myself and it didn't work out, but I still really love the colors, and so I just think that in the future I'm definitely gonna want something in these colors. I just don't know what. Like a sweater. What I originally tried to make, I think, was some type of shirt. I can't remember too much. I think it was like a halter top shirt, and I just couldn't really get the pattern correct. But I would love to make myself something else out of this yarn. I just don't know what it is yet, but just in case I had to get a couple of them, I probably got like 6 of these. And then next is another variegated yarn in a color that I've never tried before. This one I think is Arcade Party. So I think this would be really cute for a sweater. I love using variegated yarns for sweaters because you don't have to do much. It's just self-striping kind of. It's not really stripes. When the variegated part is so like short, like all the colors are so short. But I think that makes it even better. I think that makes for really cute sweaters. So I think this one is gonna be a cute sweater. But one color that I'm even more excited about was Lake House. This is so gorgeous. I'm absolutely definitely 100% sure I'm gonna make a sweater out of this one. And I feel like it's going to be so gorgeous that I probably will want to keep it for myself. I'm in the era of making things for myself lately, which I used to not do a lot. So I think that that's fine if I'm going into that era. But I just think these colors, I don't even know. They're not even like fall colors or anything. Like I don't know what exactly it's reminding me of. But it's just like the colors together are so satisfying. So I got 5 of each of these for whether I want to do a sweater or cardigan, but probably I would do a sweater in both of them. And then out of the same yarn type, I got the color that is called Happy Rainbow. And I got a lot more of these than I did the other ones because I think this can be used for a lot more things. I know for sure I want to make a star sweater out of this with white yarn, and I'll upload a picture of something that's not my picture. I think I screenshot it from Facebook, and it was a star purse, so I knew that I wanted to make the same thing, and I feel like this colorway is like pretty close to that, and I think it would end up being really cute. I think this would be so cute in just a beanie, in a cardigan, in sweaters. I didn't want to go more than 10 because I didn't have like that many things planned for it, but I think that the colors are so cute and so like popular. I feel like a lot of people love pastel and love rainbow pastel together, that I just wanted to get enough to do at least 2 or 3 projects out of it. So I'm really excited to try this one. And next I got 2 of these light colors. I don't use light weight 3 very often, but I love to use weight 3 for t-shirts. But the only time I've ever made t-shirts was for myself. I don't typically sell t-shirts or think about selling t-shirts because that's the type of thing that people definitely don't want to spend more money on. So it's like it's harder to price for craft fairs or selling online. But I got 2 colors. This was a Sunbeam Snake, and then this was Flamingo something. Oh, it was just Flamingo. I really like both of them. I think for sure if I make shirts out of these, I might end up keeping this one for myself. Actually, maybe both of them for myself. I don't know. Right now I have 2 t-shirts that I've made for myself, so I feel like having 2 more is not that big of a deal. Unless someone else I personally know would want a t-shirt, because otherwise I don't see myself really trying to sell t-shirts. They're just fun to make and easy to make, but not as fun to sell. I think that's it. I'm pretty sure everything else in this box is colors I've shown already, because obviously I got 20 of these, 20 of the orange. So I'm pretty sure that's, oh, there's the rest of the rainbow. I'm pretty sure that's everything that's in here. Let's just dig around to make sure. I'm probably gonna end up filling about 3 or 4 of these storage bags. I'll link on Amazon where I got these storage bags. They're the same bags that I use to store my finished products when I have them for craft fairs, and then transport them to the craft fairs. I keep trying to get a better shot of the plum color because it looks so red on camera, but it's like a purple pink. It's like, it looks like wine on camera. But if you think that this is a lot of yarn, It is, but I'm definitely going to be using it. Anyone who subscribed to me or who has seen my crochet diaries knows that I crochet really fast. I go through large projects very fast because I mainly only do large projects, except for like hats and stuff, but mainly I do sweaters and sometimes cardigans, and so I'm pretty non-stop, so I know for sure that this yarn is going to get used. I would bet that I finish all this yarn within like probably 2 years. That's going pretty far, but just considering the fact that I got like 20 of multiple of the same colors, that's the thing that probably pushes it back a longer way. Otherwise, like when it comes to the specific variegated colors, like the lake house and these cute little shirt yarns, I'm gonna be done with those by fall of this year, I'm sure. I love to do those kinds of projects, so even though I've gotten a lot of yarn, it definitely was necessary, because I know in the past I've talked about how I don't really encourage overconsumption, and I've talked about like people who I see on Instagram who say things about collecting yarn being their hobby instead of crocheting being their hobby, or knitting, and it always kind of just rubs me the wrong way, because I don't think anyone should be like glorifying overconsumption. So I know that I've talked about that in the past in a lot of my past videos, especially the one where I go through my yarn stash and only work from my yarn stash instead of buying new yarns for like multiple projects, and then I showed the projects. I'll link that in the description. So obviously this is like contrasting that, everything that I said in that video, but I don't like buy all these yarns lightly. I buy them because I know I'm gonna use them, and because Big Twist is my favorite brand of yarn. So with it going out of business, it was kind of just like a dire situation that I need to get the colors that I like to use, that I know I like to use, before I can't get them anymore. So like normally I wouldn't be buying this much yarn, or like I don't even really have the storage space to have this much yarn. That's why I had to get the bags. So this is not the normal situation, but with my favorite yarn brand going out of business, it's the decision that I had to make, just to keep myself going, because I know that I like using this yarn. I know that the quality is good. I know that I like the softness factor of it, whereas my other option would have been to go ahead and start testing other yarns from other stores, which eventually I will have to do. Like Michael's, like I've used some of Michael's, their brand of yarn, and there's some other yarns that I know that I like as well, and some yarns that I know I don't like, but just like it was just very convenient to be able to stock up on the yarn that I 100% know that I like the quality of, and that I know that I'm going to use, and that I already have projects in my mind for, at least for some of them. So all that being said, I just want to make it clear that no yarn is ever going to go to waste. And apparently I just found this out a couple days ago that in my area they're going to be opening a craft thrift store. I don't know what it's called. So I will be able to donate yarn if I don't use it, or if I have any left over, and I will also be able to buy yarn there in the future. But obviously as of right now I don't need to be doing that yet, but it's good that that's going to be an option for me going further, because I do like to make the most of all materials that we like already have on this planet. And then to quickly talk about my Etsy shop and how Joann's going out of business is going to affect my Etsy shop, because I've seen a lot of other people say that it is going to affect their small business, and I completely agree. So one thing I didn't talk about at all in this video so far is that there is a brand of Big Twist called Big Twist Living that actually makes pride yarns in a couple different pride colors. And as I mentioned before, briefly, the lesbian flag cardigan is my most popular item on my Etsy shop, and so with Joann's and Big Twist going out of business, they're not going to be making Big Twist Living anymore, which is where I was getting that yarn, and it is specifically like that yarn. There's no other yarns so far that are making Pride colors, and so that's obviously directly going to affect the Pride collection on my Etsy shop, but especially the Lesbian Pride cardigan, because that is my biggest seller. And so I actually didn't order any of that yarn during this order. I did bulk order 30 of them before I knew Joann's was going out of business, just because I needed them at the time. But this year, like beginning in January, my Etsy shop has been on and off on vacation mode, like more often than it usually is, because I've been crocheting for, I think this is the 8th year, and I always get a lot of orders in January and in June, because June a lot of people are buying from my Pride collection for Pride month, and that makes sense. In January, I don't know why I get a lot of orders, but possibly it's because people get Etsy gift cards for Christmas, and then they go ahead and they buy things that they had favorited, because I get like a lot of favorites without people actually buying things on my Etsy shop. So I think that that's the situation, that they're saving it for when they have gift cards, and then when they have gift cards they come and buy it. So I got a lot of orders for it in January, and I was working very hard to fulfill the orders, as I always do, but it was getting harder than normal to keep doing it and keep crocheting like non-stop without taking breaks in between projects, and it was really hard on my wrists and my arms and my fingers. I started wearing compression bands and everything, but it just made me realize that going forward I have to be taking breaks in between every single big project that I do. Like, I can't take 6 cardigan orders in a row and fulfill all of them without stopping like I used to. So that caused me to think about like what I want to do with my Etsy shop going forward. And again, this was all before Joann announced that they were going out of business, so this was just my own thoughts. So my Etsy shop was on vacation mode for a while, like on and off, especially because not only was I getting a lot of orders, mainly for that cardigan, but for other ones too, but people were being very pushy about it in messages to me, because like I had it set so that it would say certain sizes were out of stock, because the bigger sizes obviously need more yarn, and so people were messaging me asking me when the bigger sizes were going to come in, but a lot of people are just not being considerate of how long it takes to make a literal handmade object. And so that was also kind of getting on my nerves and making me lean towards like thinking about not selling those type of things anymore, because people are not appreciating them as much as you should when you're buying something that's completely handmade, slow fashion, or any other type, like anything on Etsy that is someone hand making things, like even the jewelry and everything. You always have to appreciate all the time that's going into it, especially because all small businesses are underselling themselves, and Etsy makes it really hard because of the fees. So when you're buying from an Etsy shop, you should know that like they're not getting all the money that you're spending on them. A lot of it is fees and shipping and materials, and so you just have to be really appreciative of what you're getting from small businesses. So that was the beginning of me wondering what to do with my Etsy shop, and I was already considering not selling really any of those things anymore, especially because crocheting is like an art form for me, and so that means that I like to be doing original things every time. And so to be doing the same thing over and over again with the cardigan, for example, but there's a couple other things in my shop that I make more than once and just have them there to make over and over again, that was just not helping me creatively, and it just wasn't like fulfilling me and like making me feel like I was being creative, whereas other things that I make for craft fairs allow me to express myself creatively like much more than making the same thing over and over again. Like for example, with that one cardigan, I checked the stats one time and I had made it over 70 times. I had over 70 orders for it in the last couple of years, and so it's just like not fun. But at the same time, I was still doing it because I very much enjoy providing that type of thing for the LGBT community, especially the lesbian community, because like I said, it's hard to find lesbian pride merchandise among other like pride merchandise, and so it's something that I felt like I had to do and wanted to do for my community. But then going forward, I had to make that decision of like, even though I want to be doing it for other people, it's not good for me anymore. So I was already planning on probably shutting that down and not selling the made to order cardigans anymore. And then other things on my Etsy shop were like kind of custom listings and stuff like that. So then with Joann's going out of business, that made the decision easier for me in terms of that cardigan and all the other pride cardigans in my shop. And I also make pride like beanies and sweater vests, but the cardigans are more popular. So I just left it with what I had in the yarn. Like I ordered those 30. My shop's been on pause since I ordered those. So when I reopen it, it's gonna be like, I'm gonna have those 30 left. I'm gonna sell as many as I can, and then I'm gonna take that listing down and all the other pride listings, like once I sell out of the amount of yarn that I can use, and then I have already ordered because I can't order anymore. And then the custom listings, which were something that I started that were new. It was like you could get a custom cardigan, custom heart sweater, custom bear hood, custom sweater vest. And then the photo that I would use for people to pick their color was like screenshots of the big twist colors, because that was more convenient in so many ways. It was helpful so that when someone is like trying to pick their color, they know like what they can go off of, instead of just like grasping at nothing and being like, I want this kind of color, and then I had to go search and see if they make yarn in that kind of color. So having it be able to be big twist was just like so much more convenient and so much better like business wise. And I would order big twist mostly, like I would order from Joann's, but there is a Joann's close enough to me where if it was like emergent, that I can go get it in person if I needed to. So obviously those listings are gonna have to go. Of course I can always change them to be what they used to be before I had that idea of using big twist. Back when I only had a sweater vest custom listing, I would just make it so people tell me what color they want and I go find that color, and I don't say like what yarn brand I'm using, and I don't know what yarn brand I'm using. They just pick the color and I go on a little hunt for it. But I don't know if that is what I want to do, because now that I've seen the convenience of it being the other way, it's hard to go back to that. And I know that it was not like a great way to make sales, or because it always came up with the possibility of like not being able to find that yarn, or me getting the yarn and then it's not a good quality because I've never used the yarn before, so I don't know that it's good or not, and then it ends up not being good, so then I had to go purchase it in another brand, things like that. It just made so much more sense for it to just be the yarn that I like to use. So I think that probably I will delete the listings that say custom listing, like custom cardigan, custom whatever, but I'll still leave it in the announcements part of my Etsy shop, saying that like if you see something you like and you want another color, like message me and let me know, which is sad because no one ever does that. I've only gotten custom orders in that way like probably 3 times, and I've had my Etsy shop for 6 years. But that's fine, because in general I think I'm just gonna lean away from the Etsy shop and just focus on making things for craft fairs, making things that I want to make, because making things for Etsy is so hard because you have to already have a picture of it in order to post it as a listing. And then obviously like sizing is a thing, but making things for craft fairs, I just have something in my mind that I know I want to make, and then I make it in a random size, and then eventually it will get bought. And so far that's been working out for me. I've been doing craft fairs for 5 years, and I really enjoy doing it, and I really enjoy that process more, of like making whatever I want to make versus making things that I think will sell on Etsy. And especially because again, Etsy has like the fees and everything. With craft fairs, obviously I pay a vendor fee, but then it's just like not as bad as Etsy fees and not as much of like a calculation of like how much do I have to price this for versus how much profit I'm gonna make, etc. I am gonna keep my Etsy shop open, but I think I'm just gonna do like make things for craft fairs, and then then I guess I'll just list them on Etsy at the same time, and then if I sell them at the craft fairs, I take them down for Etsy, and if I sell them on Etsy, then I sell them on Etsy. So it'll be like kind of like I'll post a picture of a certain sweater, and I'll make it clear in the title and the description that it's in a certain size only, and see if anyone buys it. Usually I've done that before, and usually they don't. I sell those type of things at craft fairs only, but I still think it's worth it to list it on Etsy as well, just in case. And I just don't want to permanently like close my Etsy shop at all. That's like definitely nowhere near what I want to do. I love having an Etsy shop. I just have to make rearrangements and make it so it's just working out better for me. But there are some things on my Etsy shop that probably will stay the same, because things like hats, I don't really mind using any type of yarn because they're just like small things, so it doesn't matter. The quality doesn't matter as much, in my opinion, as it would for a sweater. So for example, on my Etsy shop I have a watermelon bucket hat, and I donate the profits of that to the Palestine Children's Relief Fund, and so that's something I would want to continue, and I'm fine with just using a different brand of red and green to make those. So if you are also an Etsy shop owner or a small business owner, and Joann's going out of business is also affecting you in any type of way, let me know about it in the comments. I'm very interested to hear like what other people's plans are, because I know not only with the yarn but also with the fabric people are very devastated, and also people who crochet but they make the stuffed animals instead of like the things that I make. I know that they're very disappointed in the loss of the Big Twist Posh, I think is what it's called. It's like the fluffier, I think, Big Twist, and it's good for making the stuffed animals. So I know a lot of people who are on that side of crochet are also like have no idea what they're gonna do. So if you're any of those people, let me know in the comments. Let me know what your plans are, what you have found as a replacement, if you have found any already. I don't have to think about replacement yet since I bought so much of this yarn, but eventually I'm gonna look into just shopping at like Premier and possibly Michael's. I want to see how their original yarn brand is, and online I know a lot of people do Hobby, Hobbii, I think. I have ordered from them once for a custom cardigan one time, and I didn't like the yarn, but that was just because it was a type of yarn that I wouldn't normally use, but just I did it because the customer, who was my friend, chose it. So I have shopped at Hobby before, but I've not tried yarn that I typically would use, which is like weight for acrylic. I'm very interested in trying Hirschner's. That seems like probably the way I would go once I run out of the Big Twist. And even if you don't have a plan but you just want to vent about it in the comments, then go ahead and I will vent with you, because it is a really hard loss for people who not only were using Joann's because it was like the closest store to them or something, but people like me who were specifically using Joann's brand of things, and that's just not going to be available anymore. And if you want to see my finished products of all these yarn colors, I will always be posting them in a crochet diary video. I do crochet diary videos about every 2 or 3 months, depending on like how much I can get done to show to the video. So I will always be updating those videos and showing literally everything that I've made within like the last time that I've made a video. So if you want to see anything that I make out of any of these yarns, how any of these projects come out, then feel free to subscribe to me so that you'll always know when I do a crochet diary. And then I go into I show everything that I made, of course, but I go into like how hard it was, if I think it's beginner friendly, how much yarn I used, how much the yarn cost. Well, that's not going to be relevant anymore because no one's going to be able to buy it. But I link the patterns that I follow in the description, and I always follow YouTube tutorials. I can't follow written patterns. So if you're like me in that way, then you'll be able to get pattern recommendation or tutorial recommendations. And sometimes I do my own tutorials on my YouTube channel, especially if I show something in the crochet diaries that I freehanded, and if someone's like, literally takes one single person to be like, can you do a tutorial, and I will do the tutorial. So if you're interested in seeing any of that, then subscribe to me. I really appreciate everyone who has subscribed to me in the last year, ever since I started doing the crochet diaries and crochet tutorials. And I love people reaching out to me and telling me about like their progress with the tutorials, or sometimes I get sent pictures of how the sweater came out from the tutorial if they were following, and I really enjoy that. So I will put a link to my crochet Instagram in the description, because I really love hearing from people, and I love to see other people's crochet Instagrams as well if you have them. So thank you for watching this haul, and I will see you again in my next crochet diary in about 2 weeks, hopefully.